hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany, and this is the first video in my House Hunter to Homeowners series. Just over a year ago, I bought a 140-year-old Victorian home in upstate New York that I've since named Florence, and this series is all about my journey to home ownership and sharing my learnings, my advice, my adventures and misadventures along the way. So this first video is really my house hunting diaries. This is a collection of video clips that I filmed during my house hunt at the beginning of 2022. I started looking after about a decade of saving and also paying off student loans. I started the house hunt in January and I closed on Florence end of May 2022, so just under 6 months. And there are a lot of ups and downs on that journey. I didn't know if these clips would ever see the light of day. I kind of filmed them from posterity, but I'm so glad to share them with you. So let me take you on my journey. Hello. I honestly don't know if this will ever see the light of day. It is February 1st, 2022. I'm starting a journey, which sounds very woo, but that is what it is. I have officially started the house hunt. I am doing this alone. I am buying the house by myself, which in and of itself has been a very terrifying sort of reality to come to terms with, because first of all, I'm a millennial. I know very few people in New York who have bought homes that are my age. I know even fewer who have done so without a partner of some sort. There is like a security blanket and support system. But in the last few weeks, it has really been go, go, go for the house hunt. I got a realtor, Anne, who is actually my coworker's mother. I got a lender and got pre-approval, which all felt really, really good. And I've started looking at houses and living religiously on like Zillow and Trulia and all of those sorts of things. But the reason I wanted to come on now is because actually yesterday I went to 2 house viewings, my first 2. So I've kind of ripped that band-aid off. It feels very much like we're off to the races, even though neither of those houses were really the house for me, as it turns out, which is fine. That is part of the process. So both of them actually had things about them that I liked and then things about them that I didn't like. There was one that was this very cute older house that really maintained all of its original features with the like archways and the like front, not porch, but the front door / entryway, the fireplace. The main problem was that the kitchen was very small, as Dad pointed out, and it was also electric, which is a bigger concern to me than the kitchen being small. But the bathroom, I still am trying to figure out how you actually got to the sink, because basically the way that it was set up, it just felt like the only way to actually wash your hands was to sit on the toilet. And then the other house was one that it's in the process of being flipped, so it was actually still being worked on. I didn't like the neighborhood as much, but the thing was that the house is old. It's older than actually the first house, but it had basically been stripped of all of that character that I love. It's very, very modern. 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms. But my problem is it just felt very sterile. Like everything was gray. The walls were painted gray. Even the laminate floor that they put in was like cool gray toned. So neither of them ended up being exactly it. But they're only the first 2 houses. It was January when I was looking at them, which my realtor Anne said is like the worst time to be looking at houses because people are slow to put their houses on the market with snow on the ground and all of that stuff. I am putting it out into the universe that I would love nothing more than to be in my own house by the end of this year, but we will see. I know people that looked for houses for years before they found one. I'm hoping that's not me. But I know that based on how much I want to spend on a house does limit inventory. And I also know that, like, considering how the pandemic has impacted the housing market, where things are going, like, within days of being put on the market, they have multiple offers, like, it could be a slog. But we're going to keep an open mind. We're going to see houses that interest us. We're going to learn from each house. And when I am sitting in my own home, in my bedroom, like, I'll look back at this and it will all have been worth it. It is February 7th, and this weekend has been one for the books when it comes to the house hunt. I am so exhausted. The prospect of starting the work week off like this. Whew. Basically, on Saturday, the day after the ice apocalypse, we had a crazy ice storm. We did manage to go and see 2 houses. One of them was a shit show, to be quite honest. The pictures on Zillow were not current pictures of the house. The pictures were probably 15, 20 years old. But basically, we got to the house, walk in, are just like, this is nothing like what was advertised. There's literally a hole, a soaking wet hole in the middle of the kitchen ceiling. I'm assuming a pipe burst, but it literally must have burst sometime during the night or that morning, and no one let us know. So there was that. But the other house that we visited, I walked in and it was like a dream. I could basically see my future in the house, and I was so excited. I basically knew right away that I wanted to make an offer. Saturday evening, I spoke with my realtor. We decided on an offer. She sent in the offer on Sunday, and mine was basically one of 4 at that point. But they are expecting to get more offers. So Sunday evening, my realtor calls and says, like, they're expecting more offers based on the 8 showings that they had today, but they've decided that they just want everyone to submit their highest and best offer by 5 p.m. Monday, and then they'll make a decision. There is a good chance, a very good chance, that this house that I loved, that I could see myself living in, might go to someone else. And I mean, there are just so many variables. Like, someone could come in and say, I'm paying in cash, or someone could say, like, hey, I'm willing to forego inspection or what have you. I'm not willing to do that because the house is 170 years old. It has septic tank. So you could basically bankrupt yourself, not knowing if there are some serious issues. It's just waiting and seeing, and it's been really tough. And I told my realtor, I just really need to know that I've done everything in my power to stand a fighting chance, and just have to cross all my fingers and toes that it's enough. And the reality is that it very well might not be. I'm trying to be optimistic, but also trying to kind of disengage myself from the house because it might not be mine. And, like, I'm also trying to be like, Brittany, you've literally only started this house hunt 2 weeks ago. You've seen 4 houses. Like, it's also basically the dead of winter. It's currently snowing outside again, which was unexpected. And so it's like, there will be other houses to see, but oh my goodness, this house, I want it so badly. I mean, it's perfect. It's has the charm of, like, the old house with the, like, exposed beams and 2 fireplaces and the hardwood floors. and like the kitchen has been recently remodeled, so that's modern, and it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and it's in this historic town that like it just feels so right. Depending on how it goes, I will either be elated or I will be devastated. I checked in this morning, told you that the homeowners wanted the highest and best offers by 5, and within 3 hours of their deadline, my realtor called and they had accepted my offer. My offer was one of 8 offers, and they accepted mine. And I'm like shocked because I was bracing myself for the other call. The like, well, there are other houses out there, like we'll keep searching, like this wasn't meant to be. Like I was preparing myself for that. I was not preparing myself for this, because this means that if everything goes well, if everything goes according to plan, I will be moving into my house in June, July of this year. So tomorrow I am calling inspectors to get that scheduled, and then I'm calling lawyers to get that settled so that we can move, get the house inspected, and hopefully proceed and get me a house and make me a homeowner. It is 7 days since I went and saw the house, got the offer accepted, and yesterday I had the inspection, and it has really been a roller coaster. The home inspector kind of dropped a couple bombshells on us about some structural things and foundational things with the house that completely deflated me. I spent all of last night basically in tears. The fact that my face is not really puffy today is a miracle, because it was probably 3-4 hours of just like crying, sobbing, hyperventilating, calming down, and then starting all over again. Right now, I don't know what's gonna happen with this house. I spoke to my realtor this morning, and the game plan is that we are going to send the homeowners the most concerning parts of the home inspector's report and see how they react to it before we kind of lay any cards on the table. Even if they came down significantly on the price of the house, which I don't necessarily think they're going to, that doesn't necessarily mean that I would want to buy it, just because the types of repairs that would likely need to be done are in the tens of thousands of dollars range. So best case scenario would be that they are willing to fix the issues before I would move in, which they didn't want to move out until June anyway. So take the next however many months and get those things fixed, which means they have to come up with the money and do it themselves. And then in which case we proceed with the deal, and it's just included in the contract as we negotiate it. But that is like best case scenario. And this process has made me realize that I am incredibly cynical, and I just don't know. So we'll see. It is Saturday, February 19th. And basically the news is we're waiting to hear what the engineer's prognosis is on the foundation of the house. And so the homeowners are paying for that to be done on Tuesday. So basically Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll know whether I'm still pursuing that house or whether I've had to let it go, because at this point I've kind of see 4 paths forward, and so the only one that gets me the house is if the homeowners take on whatever costs to make sure the foundation and the flooring system are safe and sound, that they take that on and that is done before closing. If any of the other options are what happens, then unfortunately that will not be my home, which would be very sad, but I'm somewhat at peace if that comes to pass. Not saying that I won't be sad, but like the last week or so, I've just had to come to terms with that. But today I did go to see a house, which was interesting because I couldn't understand why the price was so low, because it had all this original woodwork from the 1920s, pocket doors with the original hardware, a brand spanking new kitchen, but the price was like really, really low. So we went to look at it. The garage, which the realtor who was there for the open house insists is sound and no structural problems, was literally the leaning tower. Like, I'm pretty sure Pisa does not lean as much as this garage. The ground floor was okay, but like all the issues were on the like bedroom level, with like weird cracks, like actual fissures in some of the walls, and this weird like solid bump in the middle of one wall, and I guess paint peeling off the plaster. So I don't know when like someone was in there, but usually that's from like humidity and things like that. So there were issues with it. It also wasn't in a great neighborhood. It wasn't that I felt unsafe, but like there was a condemned building like 2 houses down, which my mom was just like, that's a drug den. So there was that. But then like the house across the street had like solar panels, so it was very, very confusing. But we went up there to check it out. I now basically know that a house probably at that price point will require too much work for me to be happy with it. But yeah, that's really the report I have. As I said, Tuesday or Wednesday we'll know whether we're moving forward with the house or whether I am bowing out and starting the search again. The little house that was my house is no longer my house. It's basically what I came on to say. And my nose is, I don't know why all of a sudden my nose is really runny. Effectively Monday, it's now Wednesday. We got the engineering report, which just confirmed what my inspector had said. But the words, and I kid you not, verbatim, the words were eventual complete failure of the foundation wall if like X wasn't done, which are not words you want to see about a house that you want to buy. And my gut was just telling me, you know, as much as I really liked the house, it's not a safe investment, or at least that's how it felt, and I don't have regrets. I haven't worked so hard to get to this point where I can actually buy a house on my own to like make an unsafe investment in my future by just doing that. So we ended up telling the homeowners, sorry, we're out, good luck, you said you have these other offers and things, so go with one of them. And I mean, they're gonna have to fix it or they're going to have to find someone who is really in love with the house and willing to take it on, because my lender said the house won't get financing from any bank in the state it's in. So those repairs would have to be done before the closing. And so it would make a already stressful process more stressful. And as a first-time home buyer, that's not what I want. It's weird. I'm not as upset as I thought I would be. I think the last couple of weeks I've really had time to digest and to like come to terms with the fact that this might be a possible outcome. I think what is the most upsetting right now is like feeling like you're having to start from square one again, to be ready to start that next chapter and for it to feel like it's that close. And then all of a sudden, like, now you have to start looking at houses again. It's kind of a bummer, and it's winter still. I mean, it's March 2nd when I'm filming this. But there's not a whole lot out on the market. It's kind of sparse. I'm not seeing a ton that is of interest to me, and I'm really hoping that as the weather starts to get better, that will change. But that too is just like a little bit disheartening at this point. I'm just trying to be as optimistic as my realist self can possibly be. So I've been keeping quiet for a little bit. Today is April, I want to say 6th? Yeah, April 6th. And there's been a lot of stress going on. And I haven't wanted to say anything, do anything for fear of like jinxing something. And I'm still a little bit nervous about that. So you'll have to wait a little while longer to hear any major details, but suffice it to say, I saw a house. I made an offer. The offer was accepted. The inspection was done and didn't raise any red flags. And I received the contract this morning, or I guess technically my attorney received the contract from the seller's attorney and reached out to me to schedule a call, hopefully tomorrow or Friday, when we'll like go through it. And according to my realtor, she doesn't think that there will be a lot of back and forth because she feels like it's a pretty straightforward contract. Hoping that's the case, I should hopefully be signing a contract for a house in the very near future. My skin, not so pretty today. Skin reacts badly to stress, which I have been under unrelentingly, house-related stuff, for the last few weeks. But exciting news, the contract has been signed, so now I am pending in contract for my house, which is really, really, really exciting. It is the 26th of April. We went into contract a little over a week ago, and so the bank has all the paperwork they need, and today was actually the day where the bank's appraiser went to the property and did their appraisal thing. My realtor, who's also an appraiser, like she can appraise properties, although I haven't hired her for that service. She went and met him. He was there for like 30-40 minutes and was gone. So now it's kind of just a waiting game. Not gonna lie, this part of the process stresses me out because essentially I've signed a contract saying this is the purchase price, but the appraiser goes in to basically decide what the actual value of the house is so that the bank will only finance X number of dollars. So my hope Best case scenario is that it appraises at the value that I offered or above that value, because then there's just nothing for us to do. If it's under that value, then I won't speak it into existence, but it adds steps and things, and if it's too big of a disparity, like, bad things can happen. So I'm not speaking those things into existence, but I'm definitely very nervous, I guess. Like, this whole process, I am just a ball of stress. So yeah, so that is where things stand with the house. I'm in this weird sort of limbo position where there really isn't much for me to do. Everything is beyond my control. Whether it's because the bank is handling it, the lawyer's handling it, the appraiser's handling it. So I'm just kind of in limbo. Essentially, I'm at this place where I'm excited, but I'm also scared to be excited. So most of the time I'm just terrified. Like, I have a color that I really like potentially for the living room, and I've kind of started pricing out a variety of things because I have no furniture. I have my bedroom set, but I'm also terrified to actually spend money on anything specific to this house. But my realtors just like, enjoy this time, like, make the most of it, go couch shopping, and I'm just like, I'll wait. But yeah, that's where things stand. Hello friends, checking in. It is May 12th in the morning, which is why you might hear a lot of birds chirping. We finally got the appraisal. The appraisal process has been stressing me out since the first house I placed an offer on and got accepted. Because with that one, I had gotten rid of the appraisal contingency, and so I was from then worried. But obviously I never got to that point in the contract. With this one, it's just been nerve-wracking. My realtor, who's also an appraiser, said, like, this is gonna be a hard house to appraise. And so I've just been sitting on pins and needles because this felt like the next hurdle I needed to, like, jump over. And literally on Monday, we're just shy of 2 weeks from when the appraiser had been at the property, and I was on the phone with my lawyer about something else, and they were just like, as a reminder, your mortgage contingency date is Monday, so you need the appraisal. So for the last 2 days, I was just like harassing my bank, harassing literally everyone, because I'm like, I need this appraisal. Like, it's been 2 weeks. I need the appraisal to come in, and it finally came in. Like, the bank closes at 5 p.m. I think the appraisal came in at 4:30. But it was a relief. It appraised for more than I offered, which is good because that means there's nothing I need to renegotiate. And it means hopefully that the underwriter will approve it, which is what I need for Monday. And it also means that the house has instant equity, which is great from that standpoint of adulting. So there is that. I think with the appraisal coming in, it finally is starting to feel a little bit more real. Not a ton, but it feels like something is happening. Like it something is moving, I guess. It's a process, man. This is like running a marathon with hurdles. Like, it's a marathon of hurdles. Closing date and time are confirmed. We are closing at 1 p.m. on May 26th. It is Monday. That is Thursday. It's happening. It's blowing my mind that it's happening, considering how long this has been a goal and a dream of mine. And so yeah, I think it's just starting to hit me that this is like a reality. So right now I'm just waiting for like the official email, I guess, from my lawyer, because it's my realtor who let me know it's confirmed, because I guess she reached out to them to be like, hey, I heard it might be happening this week. When is it happening? And I also know that the bank needs to send me I think they call it the closing disclosure, which legally I have to have 3 days to review. So I'm assuming I will get that today. But yeah, holy cow. Okay, I'm gonna go try to work. I feel like my brain is not gonna want to work, but I'm gonna go try, do my damnedest, and I will check in with you probably on closing day. Holy crap. Okay. So yeah, as you've seen, there were a lot of intense emotions. A very, very roller coastery ride to finding Florence before I was able to move in. But considering the home that I got and how happy I am here, I wouldn't change it for a bit. A few things to note. I was very, very fortunate. I know that a lot of people were house hunting for a year, 2 years, and I managed to find the home for me in just under 6 months. And the market that I was in at the time was very, very competitive. So every home that I was putting an offer in on, and I offered on 3, there were at least a half dozen offers on just about all of them. And I was also getting in just under the wire before the interest rates really started to spike too. So I was very, very fortunate during my house hunting experience, despite some of the highs and lows. The lows were pretty low. They were. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. The next video in this series will be my tips for house hunting, especially if you're a first-time house hunter and you're on the market for your first home. That'll be coming soon. So if you want to see that and the other videos in the series, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.